done.
Yeah.
Okay. You had your first quantum healing hypnosis session. How was that for you? That was the first time you were hypnotized too.
Yeah, it was great. It was freeing, and I'd like to know more because of it.
It does that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, if you decide to have a follow-up session, a lot of people do, it'll be much easier to go under hypnosis. You'll get your answers right away and you'll go deeper. But you went pretty deep today. So did you feel like you were asleep? Because we talked about what hypnosis is. It's not sleeping.
I didn't feel asleep.
Yeah.
I felt like I was tapping into the side that doesn't get used. I think you would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you already have a rich imagination.
I do. Daily.
Yeah. Isn't it important?
Yeah. I daydream. I think a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that's how we create.
Yeah.
And it's really good to have a really strong imagination that'll help you under hypnosis. That'll help you go deeper even more. So do you feel like you got your answers to your questions?
Yes.
You wanted to know about your cats.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're really connected with your cats, Tiger and Sunshine?
Yes, I do. And I, of course, from like selfish point of view, I want more.
Of course.
I want to like see them, but that's, yeah.
Yeah. So you found out that they are two of your main spirit guides.
Yeah.
Which we talked about when you had a healing session with me and I channeled them.
Yeah.
Yes. And no, they're very, very clear. They're very sweet. And they said that they will probably, most likely, be born again into two other cats, that you should get some more cats.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, the other session, you had never seen a picture of them.
Oh, no, they came through right away.
To me, that's very amazing.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. So what I want to share with this is that to be a psychic medium, there's nothing woo-woo about it. It's actually really practical. As I shared with you, at the end of your hypnosis session here before we did the interview, it's a muscle that you have to use. And just like any physical muscle in your body, if you don't use your psychic abilities, they will be atrophied. And so being a psychic medium, anyone can be a psychic medium. Everybody has the ability for clairvoyance, their inner vision, their imagination to be stronger, the clairaudience, hearing your spirit guides, hearing your angels, hearing higher frequencies. What people think of as tinnitus is actually hearing frequencies. Clairsentience, the ability to feel others' energy, to sense others' energy. And claircognizance, knowing what's coming, knowing someone on an energetic level. These are everyone's natural abilities. I am not special. I just use mine. And the more that you use them, the bigger and better and stronger they get. That's it. They're very practical, which is actually what mysticism is. Something that is mystical is the practicality of energy, learning the technical workings of energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very practical. Mysticism is a very practical thing. It's a practice. You have to practice mysticism in order to grow it, to make it stronger. You got yours turned on today. So you've had a headache for a long time, and you've had all the medical studies now, all the tests, which really didn't give you a whole lot. Nope. And you're detoxing from pharmaceuticals, as many people are. And what you learned was, do you remember what you learned about what the headache is? It's an emotion, actually. What do you remember it being?
Remember it just being toxins. There's a rage that I know I'm born with. It's in me.
It's in you from your birth because you were adopted.
Yeah.
And you wanted to know about your birth parents. So we went back to your birth and saw your birth mother. And you talked with her. You asked her questions.
Yeah.
Does that feel satisfying to you that you were regressed back into your
Yeah.
birth?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, she let you know. She was really just a conduit, is what she was for you.
Yeah.
Her purpose was to birth you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And your birth father, same purpose, just to birth you, and that's it. You know, your higher self, which we were talking to Tiger and Sunshine, and they were really being the voice for your universal self, your higher self, your wisdom. They were letting you know you don't need to know your birth father. It isn't going to be satisfying for you to try to find a man who, number one, doesn't even know you exist, and number two, didn't even care. His purpose was to birth you. And according to them, he died already and is not even in the body anymore.
That would make sense to me.
It makes sense to me because that's what I heard before you even went under. But I have to wait until you hear it in your session before I can say it. He's not in his body. His spiritual purpose was to give you life. You wanted to learn self-love and self-nurturing in this life. And so you chose some difficult circumstances to be born under so that you could really drive that lesson home. And we do. And so, we went into your childhood and you saw situations with your sister, your adoptive sister, and with your adoptive parents on things that were teaching you about self-forgiveness and compassion. How did you feel about that?
It's good to examine it, and I think I'm going to be forcing myself to examine it more as I go home.
You
It's
will.
going to be, I won't be distant from it.
No, you won't. And there's a reason why you had your quantum healing hypnosis session before you go to Atlanta and see your adoptive parents.
Yeah.
It's all very universal timing. You do realize that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been great. I mean, some ways I feel like, I need more time, but it was put in motion.
It was expedited.
Yeah.
Very, very purposefully. You're being pushed by your higher self to heal and integrate all of these fragmented, unconscious parts of yourself. It's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to awaken. As I say this to everybody, my purpose is as an awakener. I'm an 1111 for a reason. 1111 on your clock, time to awaken. You are the creator of your own reality. You are your own God. What you think and how you feel and what you believe creates the reality that you experience. Nothing without you is out of your control. Nothing. You are in control of everything that you experience. I personally find that very empowering.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. Yeah.
It feels good. It feels true. It feels right. It's like, well, why wouldn't I be in control of my own life experience? But we were taught that for thousands of years. It's not true. And through self-love, we find our path. You're on the path to loving yourself in all parts of yourself. Forgiveness is a key for that. Forgiveness dissolves attachments. Forgiveness dissolves difficult emotions. It does. We don't forget, but when we forgive ourselves for experiencing life and we forgive others for their ignorance, for not knowing, when we forgive our child within us for not knowing, the children, as children, we don't know. We're children. We're not cognizant of these things. When we forgive our child of, I'm sorry that happened, I forgive you, yes. It dissolves things. It helps us to understand we're not perfect. We're here to learn. We can't be perfect, or else how else will we learn? You're a 5-year-old boy who is feeling jealous and feeling left out. He didn't know any better. That's how you learn. That's how we come into our higher self. Our higher self is really our adult self. But I know you know that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So would you recommend this to others?
I would.
Why?
It goes deeper into the subconscious than any sort of talk therapy because you're examining it in a different way. And I've done the talk therapy and they all meant well, but I don't know that it worked.
Well, you're just talking about the same thing over and over again. If you're talking about your problems, you're going to create your problems.
It did seem that way, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But if you talk about solutions and if you go into the problems, we went into your problems today. We regressed to this life, to your childhood. And we went into the feelings of your little boy. Clarity on the root of where your problems are today. We went into the root, which is in your childhood. And clarity and understanding going into it as an adult now and seeing it. I'm a little boy, I don't know any better. I'm going to forgive myself for feeling this way. That gives us healing. Because we have a hard time going into our childhood just from being in our awake state. Whereas when you go into hypnosis, when you go through alpha, then you go into theta, and then you go into somnambulistic, the lucid state. All of a sudden, the memories are there. They were very clear for you, yes?
More than at any other time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's I still have, that's the beginning of what I'm about to do and go reconnect.
It is. And so now you have more conscious awareness, and you're going to watch the recording of your session and listen to it every single night before you go to sleep, so that as you sleep, it integrates into your cells. It integrates into your brain, so your brain will connect new neurons. I mean, there's a whole actual physiological, neurological aspect to this as well. Mm-hmm. You're reprogramming your mind by listening to your own wisdom and listening to the wisdom that came through my voice on the recording, so that all of these answers that you were looking for, they're there for you. They're always there for you, and it will help to open up your right side of your brain more, the intuitive side, so that then you're connecting with your own universal wisdom more and more and more. Every single recording. After my first session, which is on my YouTube channel, it's the audio. It's the only audio one on there. I listened to that every single night for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, I was like, yeah, I know it. I don't need to listen to it anymore. You'll know when you don't need to, when it just doesn't appeal to you and you feel pretty saturated. You feel like you've integrated it. Mm-hmm. You'll be very different then. You'll be very different. And it could maybe take a few nights. It could take a couple weeks or so. For some people, it takes several months to listen literally to the recording, bits and pieces of it every single night.
Yeah.
It changes them. And then, as I shared with you before your session, you're going to see your ego a lot more easily. You're going to see it, and it's going to be like, yeah, no, I don't need that. And you're going to see other people's egos really quickly, and it's going to look ridiculous to you. That's what happens after these sessions. Well, good. All right. So if you would like a quantum healing hypnosis session with me, please go to my website. It's in the description box down below, soniawilderwellness.com, and we'll get you scheduled when it's your time. It just aligns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because today's the 24th, and what day were you born on?
24th.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
That was really good. Wonderful.